I've got an idea for this car. What I'm thinking about doing is doing all this and then simply just giving it away. But I'll get more to the end of the video. Oh, sparks are happening. Lovely. This is the car I actually bought back in October, and it's the start of January now. When I bought it with a bad engine. It's also got bad everything else, but we'll get to that. But my aspiration for today is to get this this engine running. So we're going to start with doing the big end bearings, which is a bit of a job in itself, especially when you're doing it outside the start of January. But I have got my little trusty gazebo I've put up to try and keep off a bit of wind and weather. I've already got the car up in the air, as you can see. So one of my favourite jobs is going to be draining the oil, which means getting one of these dastardly oil filters off again, and then I'll drop it all off, because I'm going to have to get the whole sump off. I'm going to have to get the whole bottom end of the engine off. Oil pickup pipes, just so I can get access to the big end bearings. So I'll go and get my tools out, and then join me back in a second, I guess. Looking in under the car, we're going to be taking the sump off, and attached to the sump you've got your air conditioning pump. So what you're going to have to do is you have to get your aux belt off. Just something to note before you go dropping the oil, etc. There are other things that have to come off this sump. 2 gearbox bolts at least, and then quite a few bolts around. You'll also have to disconnect this dogbo mount. The engine will hang fine with that disconnected. Doing this sump is going to be a slightly more involved job than I first thought it is. I'm actually going to have to put the car in front end service mode, so taking off the bumper, the crash bar, and moving the radiators forward, just so I can gain access to take the air conditioning pump bolt out, because that's actually mounted on the sump and the block together. So I'm going to crack on and doing that. I just had to move the camera then, I'm sorry, it was starting to rain. I had to put another side up on my tent. A 1-inch machine screw. Whoever had this before, you put some very long screws in. Guess if it looks stupid, but works, it's not stupid. On the end of the supercharger, you've got your pulley, and you've got your belt tensioner as well. So I've got this nice little tool, specifically for the job, to take the tension off the belt. So I'm going to try and whiz the tension off, but without bothering putting a pin in it. I'm just going to knock the belt off the air conditioning pump at the bottom. I don't know if you noticed, by the way, but this car doesn't actually have air conditioning. Its radiator has been completely removed. So with that tool, that job was really easy, and it's just it is a special tool for the job. This one's called Cock Tools. I actually got this when I was out in America, when I lived out there for a bit. I can't remember where, how much, but yeah, there is a specific tool for the job if you are doing a supercharger pulley or auxiliary belt replacement, etc, etc. So I've just pinged that belt off my the air conditioning pump. Yeah, it doesn't have an air conditioning radiator, has no other pipework going to it. Here I am with my power tools again, look at me. Get off. 2. Don't even know why it's on the car. As you can see, there's nothing connected to it. All that for that. I don't know what this random bit of metal is, but it's... I don't know. Maybe it's actually holding the radiator because nothing else is. I'll get rid of that. That's what it does. That's what it does. Right, okay, oil drop. I'm not going to film this bit. I had a grey Mini, and I really struggled getting the oil filter off. So if you want to see me struggle, go back and watch that video. Absolutely. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe, and you can see me tinkering, messing about, and repairing stuff. Not always Minis, but it's just what I have right now. Thank you to whoever did this Mini oil filter before, because it's actually come out at maybe the right sort of tension it should have been. So whoever it was, I appreciate you for that. Have a nice day. Right, underneath the car now, obviously, don't know why I said that. I'm going to undo the sump plug. These are renowned for being really, really tight. I'm going to drop the oil and we'll see if we have any sparkle in it. I'm expecting... Oh wow, wasn't even tight. Really wasn't tight. No, wasn't tight. Just wasn't tight at all. Yeah, we're going to see if we have any... put me off then. I'm going to see if we have any sparkle in it. Because I'm expecting some serious metal flakes in it. You know what? It doesn't look too bad. By the way, it's slowing down. It doesn't look like there's very much in there. Oh, interesting. So I've been around and cracked off all the bolts with a ratchet. So they've all been loosened, just so I can take them out with this horrible little thing. I put the new sump plug back in because I threw the old one straight in the oil pan as it was raining, thinking I wouldn't need it anymore. But clearly I do. The sump is attached to the gearbox here, and there's another one up here you can see. So I have had to take the power steering cooling fan off, and yeah, just something else I didn't really want to do. So I didn't want to have to do, should I say? So we'll go with this. Oh wow, there's a really long one. Remind me later where that one goes. I took the boat out the dog bone mat as well. I don't know if you saw that bit. It's also a really long one. Nice noise. Oh. We found ironing boards. I've given this pan a bit of a clean. And if you can see over here, and in this point here actually, it's like panning for gold. When we release this, correct me if I'm wrong, but there shouldn't be a load of copper in there. We'll find out where that's come from then, shall we? So I've got the sump pan removed. We found a bit of copper in the bottom. Oh god! What an idiot. What have I done that for? Idiot. Yeah, Sump off. Found a bit of copper. So likelihood is it's come from one of the end of these bearings. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Cylinder firing order isn't necessarily in that order, by the way. So that one seems fine. There's no movement in that. No movement in that. We had no movement in that. And no movement in that. Now, all jokes aside, that is terrible. I just had oil drip on my face. That is terrible. So that's clearly a problem. But luckily, if you find a problem, you can fix it. So that's going to be our next move. I'm going to take these caps off. And we're going to go about putting new bearings in. So what I'm thinking of doing with this car is actually giving it away for free. So obviously I've got to get something back for it. And as a new channel, the best thing you guys can do for me is stick some comments in below, share the video out to a couple of your friends, and obviously subscribe. If you're watching this sort of thing, you like this sort of thing. So I could help you with a perfectly serviceable car when I finish with it, and you can help me by publicising the channel. So yeah, if you think that's a good idea and you think you're interested and you'd like this crazy blue Mini Cooper S, stick me a comment in down below, share it to say 3 people, and subscribe to the channel. And the comment must be free Mini. Yeah, free Mini. I like it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. People use phrases like spun bearings. So what you can see on the end of this conrod here is the gap between the 2 bearings there. Gap between the 2 bearings there is about 90 degrees out from where it should be. So this is a spun bearing for you. And it shouldn't move like that. So I did do a video about the car, but it hasn't appeared to have worked. I think I just filmed the sky for a few minutes while I thought I was actually filming this. So these are the bearings removed from the car, and 6 out of the 8 are in pretty much perfect condition, and you can still read the part numbers on them, which is quite incredible. The car's done 140,000 miles, I think. So these are the 2 bad ones, and you can see the size difference, how much they've actually been expanded. And yeah, that's not good. So they've been hammered wafer thin while the car's been running, which has obviously created loads of play. And I assume this side here, which is missing, because there's a lip on one side of both of them and not on this side. I think the metal fragments which were in the sump were actually this side of the bearing. So yeah, apologies I didn't get it on the car, but this is where we're at. It's really interesting to see. Yeah, so these are almost like new, and then the one that's slipped, or the one that's worn ever so slightly, is hammered really, really thin. What's that? So £25 foot or 34 Newton meters for them. Just to show you the sump is all clean up, ready to go back on the car. There was loads of copper filings in here. Filings? Whatever it was, the bearing basically And I've also cleaned out the pickup pipe here because there was loads of fragments in there as well. So I'm rapidly losing the light, so I'm going to get this all back on, because I did want to get it running today. It's almost 4 o'clock already in January. It's dark. So this is going to be my first start attempt after replacing the lower bearings, the Conrod bearings. I've actually just discovered that the alternator has completely expanded and seized up, which is probably the reason it wasn't start at all this morning. Which is a good thing and a bad thing, I guess. It's not the starter motor that needs replacing. I just need to find an alternator. Right, I'm going to start it up and see what happens. Hope I don't get a big bang. I have put oil in it. Should be okay. Oh, sparks are happening. Lovely. So following that last clip, it's not actually all bad. The noise you had then was simply the belt tensioner rubbing on the crank pulley. So it was quite exciting, quite a nice noise, but also a terrifying noise at the same time. So what I've actually gone out and done is I've gone out and got a second-hand alternator. So yeah, can't even see. We've got an alternator fitted. I'm going to button up the front end. I'm going to put it all back together again now, and then we'll have a go at starting it again, and hopefully we'll get a nice quiet engine. It is absolutely freezing cold. I think it's currently -1. I'm shivering a little bit, so do excuse me. So we'll do not only a first start, but we'll do a cold start video as well. So come back to me in a second. I'll get all this done. So that's the front end put back on. I've not plugged in the front indicators, so they're not going to work for a bit, because no doubt this thing's going to come apart again anyway. When I moved it the other day, I've got no power steering, so it's just deciding to throw up faults. So that's going to be something else we'll look at, and that'll be front end off again, subframe drop to get to the power steering and steering rack. Amazing. Right, I'm going to go for a first start, cold start. I've charged the battery. How bad could it be? How bad could it be? I'm absolutely freezing. We have power. Now that's lovely and quiet. The fan's kicking in, it must be warm. As I mentioned earlier on, I think that's because the air conditioning pump's been taken off and they've left something unplugged somewhere else, or disconnected something somewhere else. Quite happy with that. There'll be more fixes. There'll be more bad weather, I'm sure. But it's not the end for little Bluey. If you do like this video, please do like and subscribe. Stick a comment down below, all the good stuff. Give it a good share. And if it's popular, I'm just going to give this thing away. So stick me a comment in down below, and yeah, we'll see where we go from here. Thank you very much for watching.